sky burned orange as the sun fell behind the distant mountains. The earth trembled softly beneath bare feet, not from an earthquake, but from the thundering steps of a mammoth herd moving across the plains. A young man, his body wrapped in animal hide, crouched behind a rock, clutching a sharp piece of flint. His breath trembled. His tribe hadn't eaten in 3 days. This was 4.7 million years ago. Before the world had names, before there were words, there was survival. Chapter 1: The Dawn of Struggle. The tribe of Tura lived in what would one day be known as East Africa, the cradle of humanity. The land was wild and untamed. There were no tools, no fire, no safety. Life was a constant test, and death was always watching. Among them was a young boy named Kale, barely 16 seasons old. His father, the tribe's strongest hunter, had been taken by a saber-tooth 3 moons ago. His mother, Myra, now carried the weight of both survival and sorrow. Kale's little sister Nomi, only 5, would often ask, "Where did father go when the beast took him?" And Myra would whisper softly, "He became one with the wind. When you feel it on your face, he's saying survive." Those words burned in Kale's heart, like the fire he didn't yet know how to make. Chapter 2: The Age Without Fire. The nights were the cruelest. Cold winds howled through the trees, carrying the cries of predators. Without fire, humans huddled together in caves, pressing against each other for warmth. Their breath turned white in the freezing air. Kale often watched the stars, wondering if they too were flames, distant and unreachable. Food was scarce. The tribe survived on raw roots, berries, and whatever scraps they could gather after other beasts had finished their meals. They had no weapons, no shelter, no concept of tomorrow, only instinct. But Kale was different, he questioned. He watched how stones struck each other, how sparks flew when lightning hit dry trees. He wondered if those sparks could be tamed. And that curiosity was the beginning of everything. Chapter 3: The Fire Within. One stormy night, Kale's tribe huddled beneath a cliff as lightning danced across the sky. A single bolt struck a nearby tree, fire. It roared bright and alive, frightening the tribe. They screamed and ran, but Kale stayed. He felt its warmth, its danger, its beauty. He broke off a burning branch and carried it carefully back to the cave. For the first time, light touched human faces at night. Myra wept. The tribe gathered around the fire, feeling heat for the first time in their lives. That night they didn't freeze. That night they dreamed. Fire changed everything. It scared off beasts, cooked food, hardened spears, and gave hope. Humanity's first great victory was born not from strength, but from curiosity and courage. Chapter 4: The Great Hunt. With fire came boldness. Kale and a few hunters decided to follow the mammoth herd that grazed near the valley. It was madness. Those beasts could crush a man with one step, but hunger pushed them beyond fear. Days turned into nights as they tracked the herd. Using sharpened stones and burning branches, they drove one mammoth toward a pit they had dug. The earth shook as the beast fell. For the first time, the tribe ate their fill, cooked meat that nourished their bodies and souls. They danced around the flames that night, painting on cave walls with charcoal and blood, stories of survival, of life, of fire. From that moment, Kale wasn't just a hunter, he was the fire bringer. Chapter 5: Nature Strikes Back. But life in those ancient days was never kind for long. Rain stopped for many moons, rivers dried, animals moved away, the lush valley turned to dust, the tribe grew weak again, and the old feared the end had come. Kale stood on a hill, watching vultures circle the sky. He knew they couldn't stay. He led the tribe on a journey across unknown lands, through deserts, forests, and mountains. Some didn't survive. Each loss was a wound carved deep into human memory. One night, when hope was almost gone, Kale found footprints, not of animals but of others. Another tribe, another kind of human. Chapter 6: The Encounter. When the two tribes met, tension filled the air. They spoke no words, only gestures. Spears were raised, but then Kale showed them the fire. The strangers gasped. Then one of them, an elder with scars across his face, knelt before Kale's flame. Slowly, peace was made. They shared food, knowledge, and strength. That was the first moment of unity among early humans, and from unity, civilization began to grow. They built shelters of branches, learned to shape stone tools, and painted stories of their world, stories that still whisper from the walls of ancient caves today. Chapter 7: Legacy of Survival. Years passed. Kale grew old. He would often sit by the fire with Nomi and the tribe's children, telling them stories of how the world was before the flame, of fear, of darkness, of courage. He said, "We survived not because we were the strongest, but because we were together, because we believed that life could be more than just surviving." One night, as Cale closed his eyes for the last time, the fire beside him burned brighter, as if the earth itself honored the man who dared to light the darkness. Epilogue: the message across time. And so, from those first sparks, humanity rose, through ice ages, through storms, through time itself. From Cale's fire to your modern light bulb, from cave drawings to the screens we hold today, the same flame burns within us all. It is the fire of curiosity, courage, and hope. Because no matter how far we've come, our story began with a single spark in the darkness,